Anybody there? Can everyone hear me okay? Well, does the audio sound like it's on the phone, or does it sound like it's... Because I've got me mic set up here, but I don't know whether you can hear that. We'll just give it a couple of minutes, guys, see if anyone else joins before I crack it open and show you. Yes, those are the famous hands. Although I'm not sure they're famous, to be fair. Yeah, I don't know why it sounds like I'm in an open room. I mean, I am in an open room, but I think it's because normally I have the mic right up to my mouth. If anyone's interested, I filmed 3 videos today, not including this one. Because for supporters, I've refilmed Visid for Delta Green, and because I was never happy, it has the old background for my old table on it. So I refilmed it, and I'm gonna, you know, like I've done with Master and Tip and Impossible Landscapes. I'm doing the complete A Night at the Opera with all the adverts, no adverts, intro sequences removed. So I'm gonna get cracking on them, and then hopefully by tomorrow or Monday, I'll be releasing 6 seasons in Sartar, the first part. It's all filmed and done. So I just need to process it now. Okay, I'll make a start then. Okay, so this is the one that was ordered via Lulu.com. They had a voucher which knocked 15% off, which made it that more attractive. So I went for the full hardback, glossy pages, heavy paper. So to get the full, you know, as good as it can be. Now, if anyone's just printed the PDF, you won't have that, the spine, because Alex, who's Captain Gothnog on the stream, has created the proper covers with the spine built in. If you print the PDF, you won't get the spine. So that's the thing. It's a nice solid hardback. Now obviously there will be spoilers going forward. Yes, sorry, I know it's echoey. I can't really do much about that. It's because normally I'm facing this way, and there's a wall there, but I'm facing this way now, where there's an empty room. So that's probably why it's a bit echoey. I can move my mic a bit closer, see if that helps. Is that better? Okay, so obviously there's going to be spoilers, so don't complain about spoilers at this point. You can always just shut it off if you want to run it. Okay, so let's open it up and have a look. So as you can see, it's gone for the full lovely glossy pages. The print's nice. There's nothing's bled into anything else. A little interesting thing there. Only one of those pictures is a real person. The other two are from this person does not exist, and all 3 of those are from this person does not exist. And we just carried on going until we got click and refresh until we got the people we wanted. That's one of my favourite pages, the way it bleeds in. So let me just get to, where is it? So as you can see, it's nice heavyweight paper. So what we're going to do on drive-through when we get to the print option is to get, we're going to go for softback and for premium hardcover. Apologies if you can hear a dog in the background. We've just bought a puppy, and it's at that biting everything and yapping everything phase, and it's driving us mental. So yeah, as you can see, it's nice heavyweight paper. The colours have come out really nice. The artwork, obviously, that Alex did has been shrunk to break up the text a bit, because it's a personal kind of a thingy of mine. Yes, Mabel's the name of the dog. Walls of text that are not great. I think that it's nice that they're broken up. You might be interested to know all the Italian is translated by an Italian guy that Pookie knows. Pookie was the editor on this. Trying to get to some nice bits. So hopefully this will be something what it looks like when it eventually goes into print on drive-through. And that probably is my favourite 2 shots. It was actually funny because Pookie said to Alex, are they really Italian fighters yet? And Alex said, yes, I researched it before I did the art. Anyone who's actually was one of my play testers will obviously know the story about what happens here. We essentially took, because obviously the title has a dual meaning. We took the idea of something viral, as in the guys on the Spectral crew want to go viral, and we added in, and it's a great old one that I've never seen used anywhere. Alex found an Malleus Monstrorum called Hastalic, and Hastalic is like he's a bringer of disease, an amplifier for infection, so it's a dual meaning. So yeah, it's a dual meaning, as in they want to go viral, but Hastalic, which looks like a giant bacteriophage, is spreading his own kind of killer virus on the island. Yeah, just having a nice flick through at the moment. It's all come out. I like I've noticed the colours, the green colours, kind of throughout. That's kind of a throwback to the idea that of night vision. Everything's green and white, or black and white, and so there's on some of the pictures there's kind of a green haze which kind of lends the same thing. And one thing you'll notice as well is any time there's a picture where it's meant to be been shot in the dark, there's actually lines on it, like from a screen. So I think it looks pretty damn good, to be honest. I say all the art, I mean, I don't think Alex did that, I think he got that from somewhere, but most of the art done by Alex. Lot of nice handouts. Because one thing, when Seth Skolkowski was one of the playtesters, and he always says one of his big things is accessibility. And so we made it as easy as we could for someone to run. That's why you get like the emails and Marco and Mayer's emails like they're on your phone. Although weirdly the time's the same on all of them. I won't mention that, Alex. One of Alex's things is good maps, and I think the maps in this are exceptionally good. I mean, the hospital, I mean, that looks great. And for a lot of the handouts, you get decent sized things that you can print out and show off. And this is basically handouts for whoever plays Heon. Whenever he gets to certain points in the scenario, you're meant to give them the handouts, because the iPads will be telling them, and you'll get the feedback from the audience and suggestions on what you should do next. So gives the person who's playing, he unloads the feedback and tells you like the running total of the subscribers and the patrons and that kind of thing. 719 viewers. So yeah, there's all those handouts. Some of the art, the Bridge of Dolls, which creeped a lot of people out when we ran it. No one, when we ran this, nobody clicked on that it was an elder sign, which at the end is explained, because Castor can't leave the island because he's trapped. Well, it. And this was quite good. The Plague Monk and Just Curtains is the exact same picture with the monk cut out of it, and the idea is meant to be at the end of the session, if it's a 2 or 3 parter, the last thing you see them do is you get them to make a search roll. If they pass it, they see the monk at the window. If they fail, they just see the curtains, and so the players can be arguing amongst themselves about what was there. The Lemon Grove was one of the bits that players enjoyed by far the most. Just daring each other to take the next lemon and see how what effect they would get. And I mean, to be honest, when I play tested this 6 times to completion, and each time I made up something new. So every time we I ran it, I would add what I'd used the previous time to the new list. The cremation, but we had a really good one where someone waded out through the ash to get a look at what it was and felt something crawling up the leg, and that caused more of a panic than anything else. Yeah, there's Karina's witchboard. Some bits of art. As I said, Hastelic, when he's in his kind of just been birthed form, he looks like vaguely like kind of a six-legged creature, and by the time it gets to the end, he's this colossal, gigantic bacteriophage. Oh, another American rider. Oh, hello, Michael. Yeah, so we got nice. The maps are really nice. As I said, Alex does a great job with the maps. This is one we couldn't really do much with, is because it goes right into the kind of the crack of the book there. So, but Alex said he tried to get it so that there was nothing too important in this centerpiece here. Not really much you can do about that. I say, nice big spreads. Although if you've got the PDF, which anyone who bought it so far will have, the PDFs don't have this. You can print them out onto a big sheet of paper if you want. Yeah. The catacombs, the Temple of Morbus, and then the birthing pit of Hastelic. And obviously we've got the Spectral Crew character sheets, but they've also got this tracker at the bottom, exposure, which is as they get more and more exposed to the taint of Hastelic, it goes up and it has varying effects. So that, as you can see, yeah, it's lovely, glossy, nice. The printing's good. So I'm hoping when we eventually get to put it in print, drive-throughs will be comparably good. And this is one of my favourite things at all. The whole thing was all this merchandise you can buy. If you scan that, it takes you to Alex's Zazzle, and you can buy these things. I've got a Spectral Crew patch. And the idea of this Karina Cry was the idea that Karina, obviously, throughout the scenario, is an actress. And someone had designed the t-shirt, Karina Cry, and she'd objected to it so much, they took a sold out sign on it. And I love the illustration on this place. Now you two can be one of the crew. No, not you, Emily. Which I thought was a great little touch. So that's the full book. So I'll talk a bit about what we're going to do next with this. When it goes into print, we're going to do, with me and Alex discussed it, we've got a great idea. We're going to do a director's cut. It's not going to be called the director's cut, it's going to be called Maya's cut, because Maya is their eyes in the sky of the person who monitors the feeds. Everyone who's bought the PDF will get the updated PDF, but the print version, we're hoping, will be the director's cut version. What provisionally the idea behind director's cut is, we're going to have a pre-bit, because in the scenario they start off in a fishing village called Perla, and we're going to flesh out what happened in the night they were in Perla, the little fishing village. And also what we're going to do is, there's a few bits we need to tweak, which we've discussed about the ending, but we've actually got a sequel planned for it, with the idea that some or none of the crew survive, but you'll have to wait and see what happens. And provisionally the sequel's called Quarantine. So hopefully the director's cut will have this one night in Perla. It's going to be called One Night in Perla, hopefully, because the idea is, like the song One Night in Bangkok, One Night in Perla, where events happen, and it sets off plants a few ideas about things that happen in the scenario, and then we're going to tweak the ending so that it includes linking it to what we potentially see as the sequel. Yeah, so just to answer the questions there from Zero Dead Productions, yeah. I mean, I ran this six times. I did ask channel supporters, and I did ask patrons, of which there are a few in the feed, to play. So, I mean, I did put it out there multiple times. You could have played this with me running it. Yeah, and the idea is that you're playing a group of ghost hunters who go to this island that has been blocked off by the Italian Navy. Excuse me. It's blocked off by the Italian Navy, and well, they think they're going there to investigate, you know, the horrors of the island, you know, the ghosts, but there's something far worse there. Okay, so if anyone hasn't bought it, Alex has done me a code, which I'll just get now, and I'll put it in the thing afterwards. It's $12.95 normally, but he's done me a code so you can get it for $9.95 if you want to buy the PDF. Let me just copy the code in. So it's only for 10 people. Anyone who wants to buy it can get it for $9.95 rather than $12.95. I say the more sales we get, the more we the more sales we get, the nearer we get towards being in print. So there you go. There's the first 10 people to use that will get it for $9.95 instead of $12.95. Well, Neil Ryan, there you go. You can get it for $9.95 if you wanted it instead of $12.95. Yeah, I mean, looking at the chat, yeah, the modern games are a nice switch up on themes for sure. One thing we discussed all the way through this was the idea that people will say Cthulhu in a modern age is easy because you can Google everything. Well, what if the technology is not being controlled by who you think it's being controlled by? The whole point of this scenario is this great old one, Hastalik, who's a virus spreader, infects the local network and then onto the internet, and then starts sending them messages via the chat to go places to get them more infected by its influence. So the idea that it's viral, but it's also like computer virus. It's a clever title that I came up with, and we've got a couple more scenarios that we're looking at designing. But the idea is to change this idea that technology is going to save you from the great old ones and all the nastiness of the mythos, because it can be turned against you like anything else can. And modern is a viable format. Yeah, it is a viable format. You've just got to take the right approach. Delta Green does the right approach to it, because although Delta Green is hidden in layers, isn't it? You've got like Majestic and things like that, and it's a conspiracy. Whereas for Cthulhu Modern, it's not necessarily a conspiracy. I mean, this isn't really. The Italian government's aware there's something going on, but they don't really know what it is, so they don't take any chances. It's not like Delta Green where they've got like vast archives of things man was not meant to know. The Italian government don't actually know what's going on here, but they've been keeping an eye on it for like since the 50s. So any questions about the scenario or anything else? I don't do these very often, so take your chance while you can. Modern does well when what should be a helpful technology destroys its own usefulness. Yeah, that's exactly the point in this scenario. Although what they're seeing is their subscriber count go up. It's not big. They're getting big donations, but it's not people donating it. Hastalik, this great old one, has infected the internet and is pulling money from the endless source that is the internet and giving it to them to tell them to go places. And because Marco, the main character, wants to be famous, the path to fame for him is to be rich. So he's whenever they say go anywhere. Yeah. Delta Green will be post-game cover-up team. We have discussed the idea that Delta Green will be the post-game cover-up. This is not what I would call a Delta Green scenario. This is before you become aware of Delta Green. Yeah, I can't wait for someone to actually to do an actual play of it. I'd love to see it. And I had some good ideas. Well, I said some good ideas. I had a good idea about the actual players. You could have the people watching being the Spectral Cruise audience and reacting to what's going on, and then because Hastalik was the plague monk is like a shadow person that lives on the island, has kind of transcended his mortal form. And the idea is you could have one of your friends play the shadow person in the chat and tell them to go places. And I think that'd be a spectacle to watch, you know, to see the actual people genuinely watching it and say to people, don't read it because it'll spoil it, but come and watch us run it. And they can react to everything that's going on by typing in messages. So you'd have someone playing, a person playing Maya, or maybe the DM playing Maya, telling them about the chat messages and then feeding them onto Heon. And you'd have someone else who's like a saboteur playing the plague monk in the chat, telling them to go places, while the actual audience are reacting like they're watching the Spectral Crew live. I think it'd be amazing to see that done. But you know, we haven't had any reviews yet, so hopefully soon we'll get some reviews on the table. But the main focus at this point is to get to the point where we're in print. When we're in print, we can deal with it from there. I mean, you know, we're doing okay. We're well past silver, and when you consider how many scenarios don't even get past bronze, it's doing quite well. And say me and Alex have got a couple more. We had a brainstorming session tonight. We've got a couple more that with seeds of ideas. One especially, the next one, we've kind of got a real full-fledged kind of concept behind it. Have you always wanted to publish a scenario even before making a review? Yeah, I never thought I'd be able to, and luckily, see, I'll just explain the background behind it. Alex became a patron of mine a couple of years ago and sent me a copy of the pipeline. And this is at a point where I didn't get sent that much stuff as well. So I read the pipeline, I enjoyed it, and I did a review of it. And then I ran the liminal scenario I had done. So I asked Alex if he wanted to play, and Alex said, "Yeah, I'd love to." So we played, and we had Alex's character was so good that we decided, when Impossible Landscapes come out, so I'll answer that question in a second. So basically, when I decided to run Impossible Landscapes, so basically my Impossible Landscapes group was Alex, Pookie from Reviews from Relay, Scott, who's here as Orcus something giant channel name, and Keith from Rolling Boxcars. Over the lockdown, we'd all become friends, chatting online and playing together. So I decided to run Impossible Landscapes for those four guys, and we're on book 3, part 3 at the moment of Impossible Landscapes. And I mentioned this idea I had. This was originally a liminal scenario that I'd written for Grogmeat, which is a big, it's a gaming convention in the UK. It's the one that people go to, because I mean, last year there was like 72 games and none of them were 5th edition D&D. They were all different systems, hacks of systems. And it was originally a scenario I wrote for liminal. And then we were talking about it post-game for Impossible Landscapes. And Alex said, that sounds like a good idea. Do you want to work on something together? So we were like, okay. So I think maybe we started it in autumn last year. I did 6 play tests. I think Alex did 1. But to be fair, Alex did the layout and the art and things like that, and the handouts, and a chunk of the writing. I did all the pre-gens, the characters. I did the sections on like things to watch to be a ghost hunter, and it was also to do with the flow of how the thing runs and the idea behind how you can run it in 1, 2, or many sessions. It was, you know, that came with playtesting. To be honest, the playtesting was so valuable. So the idea was we were hoping to get it out by Christmas, but then it became obvious that wouldn't be the case. But I think the extra time spent on it was well spent, because what we've got now is something we're both really proud of. And Alex has put us in for the Ennies for it, so let's see what happens there. As well as Alex's other scenario, Carnival of Madness, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already checked it out, because it's very good. I had the pleasure of playing that with Alex running it, Pookie playing it. We had Scott Dorwood, Seth Gorkowski, and John Hook. We all played it, and it was a blast. So I'm actually going to Gen Con this year. So if it does get anywhere near the Ennies, I'll be there to accept the award or applaud with a sour look on my face when someone else wins it. But I think with this we've done something that no one's really done. And I was lucky really, because at Grogmeet this year when I ran the Call of Cthulhu version, Paul Fricker played it. You know, one of the guys who created Cthulhu 7th edition, and he really enjoyed it, he really rated it. He messaged me afterwards and said, that's going to be a great scenario when you get it in print. And that was just the one session version, not the multiple one. Yeah, I mean, with regard to the Delta Green thing, yeah, no, Delta Green doesn't have a Creative Commons. I think what it is with Delta Green, they're very protective of their IP. So anything that deviates in an official capacity from the timeline and the events of the official Delta Green timeline, I think they're slightly uncomfortable with it. Which is kind of why they brought Caleb Stokes on, I think, partially because he was doing good stuff and then running it, but not releasing it to be bought. But he was running it on his, you know, he had like his real plays, actual plays, and it was so good they didn't have much option but other than to say, you need to come and work for us so we can print those scenarios and we all make a bit of money out of it. But I think this would be a great pre-Delta Green scenario. Excuse me. The thing is about this scenario, there is something in it for a team from Miskatonic University going there. We will win, sir. Well, let's see. I've lost my train of thought now. That's probably a good time to stop then, isn't it? If I've lost my train of thought. Has anyone got any questions other than can it be converted for Delta Green? Because I think I've addressed that. And how long from concept to publication? The original liminal scenario was one where it was a group of ghost hunters going to an island in the Orkneys to do a 1 million subscribers live stream, and it was this haunted island, but it wasn't ghosts that were on it because it was liminal. It's urban fantasy. It was a type of fae that could have telekinetic powers that scared people away. It had been driven mad because at some point it had been bound to the island, and we had a laugh playing it. Scott played the main character in it. I think it was the best it was ever played by anyone. He nailed it completely. On his Instagram, taking photos of himself, putting people in the way when there was danger. Perfect. It was it was really good. Any other questions regarding it before I kill this and go back to getting videos ready to put on in the interwebs? I'm aware there's a delay, so I'm going to wait a minute. If there's no more, I will put a link to Carnival Madness in the chat. Give me a second. So let me just get my keyboard. yeah, the second part's going to be called Quarantine. In keeping with the whole virus and infection theme, but we've got a good idea for what we're going to do with that. Yeah, Andy, who's just put Fantastic Game Comic to run it. He played Heon in it and played incredibly well. But there's Carnival of Madness. I'll show you Carnival of Madness. That's Carnival of Madness. Interesting because look at the book size. Carnival of Madness is slightly bigger. So that one's from Drive-Thru. That one's from Lulu. Only millimetres in it. Yeah, I mean, Carnival of Madness is heading towards gold, I think. And again, it's got, you know, the maps are fantastic in it. Creepy clown pictures. I mean, I don't know what more you want. Yeah, it's very nicely done. There's some great bits of art in this, from what I remember. And again, the character sheet's all built in. I mean, and also this Carnival Pandemonium, Alex had printed out, I think it was on Zazzle, as like a leaflet, a proper foldable leaflet. Average. So I take it these Zero Dead Productions, what's the average runtime for the scenario is to do with viral. I wouldn't say average, I would say optimum. Optimum running time. Can you hear me? Because it looked like my microphone was switched off. I'd say with this, it's optimum running time. There's rules for one session. I ran it twice for 3 times in one session. Grog Meat worked the best because everyone was excited to play. Another session I ran was okay, but we had technical difficulties, and the last one I ran was really good. The 2-session one, it seems to be the sweet spot. We have put it in that you could do it for more, but then that takes it takes away the whole idea that they're pushing for 1 million subscribers if you have over more than 2. But for the director's cut we're planning, where we've got the section called One Night in Perla, that will expand it, so you'll be able to get more sessions out of it. Good, I'm glad you're buying Carnival of Madness because Alex does great work, and it's great to work with as well. We bounce some good ideas off each other, and we've got some more stuff coming, which is nice. If someone had asked me years ago if tell me I'd have a Call of Cthulhu scenario in print, I would never have believed them. Because obviously I review them, I don't really write them. I think it's starting to go to conventions. That was the thing that did it. I was going to conventions and having to create scenarios, new ones, because you don't go to a convention and run a pre-existing one unless it's from some obscure issue of Imagine magazine from the early 90s or something like that. So I was having to create my own scenarios. I did a couple of liminal ones, and this one was first ran in public at Grog Meat. Any other good questions before I leave it? Please do me a favour, if you do buy it and you read it and you like it, leave a review for us on Drive-Thru RPG, because it really helps us. It really helps us try and beat the Koreans to having like the top 10. If you filter by English, you see like the kind of the true American English, Australian, Canadian kind of where we sit. Those Korean scenarios, I don't read Korean. I have no idea what they're about, but most of them are like gold sellers. So who knows? But it'd be nice to be one of the English games amongst them that's doing well. Get the sore throat to talking. And we, as I've just noticed, Alex has posted reviews are a big deal. They really are, because currently we've got 3 5-star reviews on it. But then if you look at something like 6 Seasons of Sartar, it's got like 262 5-star reviews. Yeah, you're definitely right there, Andrew. The idea of the single session was to test a particular rule. Well, in fact, I'll show you what it was. It was when Hastalic Awakens. It was this whole escaping, and why not use the climb skill? Because we felt if we gave everyone points in climb, it telegraphs that they're going to need to use it later on. And we had to figure out a way for them to be able to get away from the Hastalic that's growing in biomass, while not being obvious that they're going to have to do something like that. So that last session was done to play test whether what we designed worked, and thankfully it did work. So yeah, but you know, what I'm going to be doing is, I feel like I've got a pool of play testers now. So I'm now I'll be asking some of the same people back to play test other things, and then I think the ones we're going to be working on next is going to be working on the director's cut for this, and the second scenario, which is not related to this, which is called Don't Try This at Home. Provisionally called Don't Try This at Home. So let's see where we go from that. We had a great session the night of bouncing ideas, and we've come up with some really good. Again, it's to do with technology and how it's not always what it seems. Okay, I'm starting to get a sore throat through talking to myself, guys. So unless there's anything else you want to ask, I'm gonna head off and get back to editing. Scalability in scenarios, yeah. It's hard to scale with Call of Cthulhu though, because things generally are as they are, unless you mean scalability as in length. But this has purposely been designed with more stuff in it than you can do in one session. Apart from the main places, there are loads of bits you can visit that have got interesting stuff going on. But it's been designed in that way so that the DM isn't caught short. Because what if whoever's playing Marco says, actually, no, we're not going to go to the Lemon Grove, we're going to go to this other place. The DM has to have something to do with them. So even though there are like 7 or 8 key places, that are more detailed because there's more bits. Yeah, Scott, have you seen the yellow sign, Scott? Because your character in Impossible Landscapes is definitely going to see it soon. I haven't seen the elderly sign. Right, I'm gonna head off and put this room back as it was, because I've got all my lights set up and my rig, and you'll see that's my phone camera now. You wouldn't believe the pain in the backside it was to try and get the phone to stream. Absolute pain in the backside. But I know how to do it now, so hopefully when we get the director's cut, I'll show everyone that. Okay, guys, I'm gonna kill it now. So have a good night, and I'll speak to some of you soon, when I can work out how to turn this bloody thing off. Which I can't. Don't make me Google how to stop live chat, please.